Right, so we've kind of explored everything down here, haven't we? Wiggly path. We'll keep exploring. Well, no, we won't. We'll keep chatting with people. So there's, ooh, there's another, oh no, this is the way back through. And there's Vivien.
Yes?
Yes. Tell me about the circle.
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
What was circle life like? No, tell me about the Templars. Because we may... I don't know. I don't know. I think I want to learn more about the Templars and more about the Mages. Which is kind of why I want to go to the Hinterlands. At the very least, we can find out more about what's going on in Redcliffe with the Mages there before making a definitive decision. But learning more about the Templars isn't bad.
You must have an opinion of the Templars after living so long in the Circle.
Having opinions about Templars, my dear, is exactly like having opinions about mages or Navarans or men. I have known some who were impossible to endure and some who were utterly charming. I have suffered insults at the hands of those in the armor, but no more than I endured from nobles or tradesmen in Val-Royaux. Personally, I have found the Templars a useful tool, skilled at keeping more unpleasant elements at bay.
What do you mean by unpleasant elements? What was circle life like?
What was it like to live in a circle?
My dear, your question is the root of all problems with mages. I cannot tell you. Every circle was different. Their Templars were different, their politics unique. And every person within each tower had an experience of circle life unique to themselves. Some people suffered and some were content. Some were cruel, some compassionate, and some indifferent. The same is true of people everywhere, in all circumstances, whether they are mages or not.
What about your experience?
So tell me about your personal experience with the Circle.
I enjoyed life in the Montsimard Circle, my dear. It was an edifice devoted to knowledge and refinement. And mages need the company of other mages. No one else can truly understand the challenges we face, nor see the world as we do.
Was confinement hard?
You must have been under constant supervision, being forced by Templars to live in the tower. Was that hard to endure?
My dear, I have a suite in the palace and a wing at my dear Duke Bastien's estate. I've never been forced to live anywhere. Most circles allowed mages to live away from the tower, either on their own or in service to the nobility. All that was required was permission from the first enchanter. Some circles were harsher in their restrictions. Kirkwall was the worst, but it was the exception. Most were quite permissive, perhaps too permissive in retrospect.
How did the rebellion start?
How did we come to this state with the Circles in revolt?
A failure of perspective that infected circle leadership. Mages lived solely in a world of Templars and mages. They could not even imagine what was beyond the tower walls. Kirkwall gave the world a reason to remember its fear of magic. A mage killed hundreds with a snap of their fingers. Across Thedas, a new tangible fear of magic grew. Commoners and nobles alike called out to the Chantry for protection. But the malcontents in the towers thought nothing of this. They cared only for themselves and for their anger at the new Templar restrictions. When a mage attempted to assassinate Divine Justinia again, the mages protested the investigation. The leadership chose to vote on independence based on the intolerable conditions imposed by the Templars, sparing no thought to the fact that magic was more feared in the aftermath of these attacks than it had been since Tevinter's day. So long as they had their freedom, they could care little for riots, angry mobs, or about pitting mages against each other.
Mages are fighting mages?
I thought the fighting was only between mages and Templars. Why are mages fighting mages?
The vote for independence was carried by only a small margin, but Fiona chose to let the motion stand. Those who opposed a rash declaration of war against the entire free world had little choice. By breaking from the Chantry when they did, the rebels declared themselves in support of mass murder. Anyone who did not wish to support terrorism and the slaughter of innocents was forced to take arms against the rebels.
Were they justified? Whoever I'm talking about now? I'm
Did they have
confused.
cause to rebel?
Right.
In the aftermath of their terrorist attacks? Was that really the most opportune time to break away? By all means, protest abuses by the Templars. Just don't do it in a way that says mages support wholesale murder. By voting when they did, my colleagues all but declared war upon the ordinary people of Thedas. A war in which we are outnumbered 100 to 1.
Cookie cookie. Oop. Calm yourself, game. Calm yourself. Right, more dialogue. I know Cullen's around somewhere. I think he should be. He might not be.
That's the picture of what a circle mage should be.
She looks like a noble. It's arrogant.
It is not arrogant to be unafraid.
Can be.
Yes?
Investigate. Any updates?
Anything I should know?
I've nothing to report at the moment.
You are well connected.
You seem to know a great many people.
I have made friends, and on occasion enemies. It's unavoidable.
How do you know Josephine?
You seem to know Josephine quite well.
I met her a long time ago, but we didn't become good friends until years later. After the Blight, in fact. I'd just returned to Val Rayo, and she welcomed me back by throwing a diplomatic ball. She was the Antivan ambassador at the time, you see. The ball was... alright. Too many politicians. At midnight, Josie and I left to find a real party. We've been friends ever since.
A real party?
What do you consider a real party?
It's not a real party until someone's small clothes are pinned to a chantry board. And that's all I'm saying about it.
Okay.
We'll continue this conversation later.
You know where I am.
Right. For me, a party is avoiding people. But... Ooh, stuff. Hello. I could... Oh, I'll be boring and go around and see Sarah first. Actually using the stairs properly.
These truths the Maker has revealed to me. As there is but one God, one life, one death, there is but one God, and He is our Maker.
Right, good. One maker, yes. Sarah. Oh, I've been picking up songs. Oh, is that just like I hear them and like I go, I remember that. I will... I don't know. I don't know if that counts as reading it is the problem. It was the thing I complained about Dragon Age 2 is that doesn't count. It didn't count. And I'm like, I'd kind of like it to count. Oh, let's talk to Flisser.
Fix the door just like you asked.
Oh, Maker, you were him. You were the herald of Andraste.
Hello.
He sent you to us to show the world who love, and I am ready for that love. Well, I'm not ready for that kind of love. That is, unless that's what you want. But, I mean, I'm Flisser. Can I get you a drink?
No, I know what she means. I think I know what she means. This is another kind of romancy, flirty thing, I think. There's a reason I avoid parties. It's me and social interaction, not the best. The Maker sent me to help. Yes.
I'm here with the Maker's blessing, and I'll do whatever I can to help.
I knew it. You let me know what you need, and well, what did you need from me? Oh, I'm rambling. As I said, I'm Flisser. The Inquisition soldiers needed a place to unwind, so Leliana brought me in to set up a tavern. Nothing fancy, but it's safer for the soldiers than looking for trouble in some village.
Oh, how do you know Liliana?
You said Leliana asked you to run an Inquisition tavern. How did you meet?
Dumb luck, maybe. I managed an inn back in Denrin. When I heard interesting gossip, I passed word to Liliana. Sometimes it was helpful. She asked if I wanted to own my own tavern, and I said yes. I didn't realize she meant this.
What can I find in Haven?
What can you tell me about this area?
Adan is Haven's apothecary. He's been making potions and tending to the wounded as best he can. Harrit is the Inquisition's smith. Whatever he can make you, Thren the quartermaster can probably find. And for anything fancier, you can try buying from Segrit. His prices aren't too high. Yet. Oh, there's also Minave. She studies beasts and things, as I understand.
Okay, thank you.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Sarah.
Chasing mages, that's a Templar's job. It's a big, armored, pissed-off helm polisher. Not too late to go find some. Or stay home.
You don't read the Inquisition. I was thinking that when I first read that, I was thinking it was more about kind of the how did you why are you here kind of thing, which is probably more to do with these. I'll invest in my gate. Any opinions about our allies?
What do you think about the people who have gathered?
Which, the ones who do things or the ones who give orders?
Advisory people.
What do you think about our spy master, ambassador, and commander?
Liliana is pretty in places. Swear I've seen her too. Or heard she used to play. But that'd be mad.
She was a bard.
Josephine, she's as good at humbling her kind as I am. Just with less mess. Knows her business if you have to have it. And colour. I suppose if you want a jackboot, you get a big one so you can grow into it. Nice hair.
Nice hair. Yes, that's how we go. That's how. Not something you can say with about Solus. Nothing about Vivienne. You probably wouldn't get on with her, thinking about it.
What about Solus?
Solus. His head's crammed up 1,000 years ago.
Mr. Varric.
Anything to say about Varric?
I guess you like him.
Varric. Too clever. Always saying something, never saying it straight.
True. Cassandra?
Thoughts about Cassandra?
Not as buttoned up as she plays, right? Tough though. I'd stand behind her in front of anything.
Right. Alright, Vivienne.
What's your opinion of Vivienne?
She's a bitch, but she knows. She better.
And Mr. Ironbull.
What's an iron bull?
It makes me wonder about things. I mean, what do women look like?
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Good, right? I'll be here.
She's got a song written about her? Just that Sarah was never. Yeah, she has a song written about her. Interesting. Mr. Solus,
What can I do for you?
tell me about yourself.
I'd like to know more about you, Solus.
Why?
I must know I can trust you. Do I need a reason? Why am I doing this other than... Like, I'm doing this because it's an option in dialogue and I want to want to investigate everything. Why is Alec doing this? Because I don't think he'd say, do I need a reason? I think he'd be very fairly open with him. With everyone, if anyone had asked. I don't think it's necessarily a respect thing, because he doesn't really know these people. In some cases, he wants to get to know them. But I don't think I must know I can trust you. I don't think that's the truth either. I think respect's probably the closest.
You're an apostate. Yet you risked your freedom to help the Inquisition.
Not the wisest course of action when framed that way.
I appreciate the work you're doing, Solus. I just wanted to know more about you.
I'm sorry. With so much fear in the air. What would you know of me?
Do you work with anyone?
Have you always traveled and studied alone?
Not at all. I have built many lasting friendships. Spirits of wisdom, possessed of ancient knowledge, happy to share what they had seen. Spirits of purpose helped me search. Even wisps, curious and playful, would point out treasures I might have missed.
Spirits, not your friends. Admittedly, last Dragon Age game we played, a spirit caused this mess. This whole. Can they be friends, wisdom and purpose?
I don't know of any spirits by those names.
They rarely seek this world. When they do, their natures do not often survive exposure to the people they encounter. Wisdom and purpose are too easily twisted to pride and desire.
Those are demon names.
You're saying that you became friends with Pride and Desire demons?
Oh
They
dear.
were not demons for me.
Meaning?
The Fade reflects the minds of the living. If you expect a spirit of wisdom to be a pride demon, it will adapt. And if your mind is free of corrupting influences, if you understand the nature of the spirit, they can be fast friends.
Hmm. Right, so he's devout, so he's not going to go, that's amazing! Because spirits sounds odd, demony, but I don't want to antagonise, but also not really want to antagonise Solus, who's our probably best field medic. That's the best term, which it isn't. Can they be friends?
You trust these spirits not to possess you the first time you accidentally make a wish?
Do you trust your friends not to turn on you?
Well, yes, but they're people.
Ah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Are people only people because they are flesh and blood? Is Cassandra defined by her cheekbones and not her faith? Varric by his chest hair and not his wit?
Spirits lack free will. You need a body to be real. Does that mean when you die you cease to exist? Clearly not. Spirits lack free will. So yes, spirits are people. I think that's kind of the key thing, is because they're controlled by one recurring idea, justice, who kind of got twisted into vengeance with Anders. But then his whole thing was still about justice, just in an exceptionally extreme way. Think Javert turned up to, I don't know, 50. Spirits lack free will.
Spirits are bound by their nature. You said it yourself. They're shaped by contact with real people.
Just as Liliana was shaped by contact with divine Justinian. As those who serve the Inquisition are shaped by you. If I change your mind in this conversation, does that mean you're no more real than a spirit?
You've thought about this.
On occasion, yes.
But no, that's different though. That's different, because you said a spirit is affected by the perception. I perceive this wisdom spirit to be a pride demon, so therefore it becomes a pride demon. It is my perception that changes it, not interaction with me that changes it. Okay, so interacting with someone who has the perception that the wisdom spirit is a pride demon transforms the wisdom spirit into a pride demon. But that is not because of any content of the interaction. It is merely based on the fact of interaction. Whereas changing your mind is based on the content, the facts shared through that interaction, that content. So Sparrowhawk's from Dragon Age 2, his view of blood magic will have changed having gotten to know Merrill. And Merrill didn't use blood magic that often, only when I really kind of needed to, partially because I forget to use special abilities. You will note this if you've joined me in Inquisition, you'll find that out. I don't always use the abilities I should at the right times because I forget they exist. And so you've got those kind of things going on. But that's different to what he's talking about with spirits and demons, where it's just they transform because they're interacting with people of a certain disposition. Where have you studied?
You said you traveled to many different places.
This world, or its memory, is reflected in the Fade. Dream in ancient ruins, and you may see a city lost to history. Some of my fondest memories were found in crumbling cities, long picked dry by treasure seekers, the best of the battlefields. Spirits press so tightly on the veil that you can slip across with but a thought.